Okay, we're back. Hopefully this live stream does not does not cave the way that the other one did, because I switched from using Wi-Fi to 5G. And I don't know why, but for some reason I've been having a lot of internet issues lately. It could just be my house's Wi-Fi, even though it's supposed to be good, but I don't know. So hopefully this one won't stop in the middle like the other one did. We were just talking about, and someone's like, did you just say 5G? Yes, I did. The last live stream that I did, okay, so the Twitch stream just ended itself. This was like my whole last year until I started using Verizon Fios. This is my whole last year, internet glitches, streaming glitches. And so I'm back to that because I'm not living in my own place right now. I'm back to living temporarily with my parents. So they have really bad internet. And last time I was having stale Tostitos, so in between my last stream and this one, I got some corn pops, and they're good, I think. So, hopefully this one is good. So we were just talking about the Matrix, and about how we're living in the Matrix. Okay, we're not actually living in the Matrix. Whoa! I'm sorry to burst your bubble for everyone that thought that I'm telling you that we're living in the Matrix. The Matrix is a movie. Just to get that disclaimer out of the way in case it makes you upset if I don't. Hey Joe, thanks for the super chat. Thanks for super chat, Joe. So if you're on Periscope, you won't know what I'm talking about. But on YouTube, there is this option to send me super chats while I'm live streaming, and it's only on YouTube and Twitch, but Twitch aborted my live stream because of these internet problems. So thank you, Joe. So my friend, in the meantime, was just telling me a story about how he went shopping wearing a makeshift mask. In case you're wondering if that guy in the picture with a pad on his face is my friend, no, that's not my friend. My friend went to the store wearing a towel on his face. That was a ghost. I'm kidding. This is also stale. All my food in my house is stale. Anyway, my friend went to the store and was just so he can enter the store, he wore a towel on his face, and it wrapped his whole face and his nose and mouth and everything, except his eyes. And the lady at the cashier was mad at him. She was like, you're not supposed to be in here because you're not wearing a mask. And he's like, but I have my whole face covered. I have my nose and my mouth covered. Isn't that the whole point? And she's like, well, it's not about covering your mouth and nose. And he's like, so what's it about? And she's like, it's about wearing mask. Okay. I mean, my friend does not have those masks at home. He just has he just uses face covering, because the whole point is to cover your face, right? Wrong. The whole point is not to cover your face. The whole point is not to not get sick or to not cover your face. The whole point is to follow the rules, okay? That's the whole point. The whole point is not to not catch coronavirus. The whole point is to do as you're told. Okay? Fine. Good. This is sour cream. The sour cream's good. Good The lady's name was totally Karen, probably. I don't know. I didn't ask what the lady's name was. I can't ask in the middle of a live stream because I do these live streams on my phone. So if I ask in the middle of a live stream, I would have to like shut this live stream off and then ask and then start this live stream again. You know? Someone is saying they're hungry now. If you're hungry, like, feel free to go and get some food and come and eat it with us, because it's not like we have anything else to do now. I mean, technically, I can go and write a book, or I can go and draw something magnificent, or I can go and like do something very productive and become like the next Nobel Prize winning researcher in history. But I can also just like be lazy because I'm not motivated and I'm depressed, so like whatever. Dove is asking if I finished the Tostitos in between the streams. No, I didn't. I threw it in the garbage because it was stale. So like, a lot of people are handling this lockdown situation really well, and I commend those people. Like, that means that you were doing a really great job at social distancing before this started. And, you know, someone is saying, masks don't prevent the virus, only have you not touch your face. Remember, there is pneumonia and the flu. Why didn't people do it then? That's a good point. By the way, I'm seeing a lot of people going and being like, oh, look, like the CDC is covering up the number of people who have the flu and pneumonia. I actually don't think that's true, because, like, naturally, when you force everyone to stay indoors a lot, they're not going to be catching the flu and pneumonia from each other because they're home. So, like, even though coronavirus is probably more contagious, if you're gonna like social distance, you're less likely to catch the flu than to catch coronavirus. So I'm just pointing that out for all the people who are like, oh, the CDC is making up all these, like, you know, the CDC is like pretending that people aren't, like, they did die from the flu and coronavirus a lot until now, but it's just happening less because people aren't connecting as much. But I mean, it doesn't mean that I think that we should all just crawl in our holes and die, you know? Life has to continue. People have to live, you know? People need a purpose to live. A lot of people are not as skilled as at staying at home, and they end up killing themselves. I'm not saying that that's okay either, but like, not everybody is really good at staying at home all day. Lemon Minty says, why does New Quarter have a bat on it? That's a really good question. Why does New Quarter have a bat on it? That's bat shit. What's the hashtag YDSB? I keep saying that. Life goes on. Hashtag YDSB. My hair looks really bad. I didn't do it. This is my not brushed morning hair. Somebody's saying social distancing is their superpower. Let's see. There's data about COVID. Nobody actually knows what's going on. Yeah, so like the other thing is like the amount that we know about this virus is just so little. Someone is saying, are you moving to new place or new city? Actually, these are not my boxes. My things are spread around different people's homes in Washington, D.C. because I do not have a permanent home. I very desperately want a permanent home that is mine and that I can just like be in, and nobody can tell me what to do. I can just like, and like that does, and like renting doesn't count, because renting, you're just like putting your money in something that's not yours, and you still have to abide by their rules. Like you can't Airbnb your place out. You can't like, people can't visit you without signing up a stupid sign-in sheet. Like you can't have a pet, you know, unless they give you permission. So I don't want that. I want to own a place that's mine. I can do what I want with, that I don't have all these stupid rules that don't matter so much. You know? The coolest thing would be if I bought a house before this happened, and then the quarantine, and then the lockdowns happened, and then I was locked down in my new house. And then I spent the whole lockdown just like furnishing and decorating it. That would be cool. It would also be cool if I like, yeah. There's really good things coming out of this like lockdown. Not gonna lie. There's like a lot of positives. Aside from a lot of people's freedoms being taken away, and I know I sound over dramatic when I say this, but why am I getting text messages from people trying to sell me drugs? Like, guys, I don't know where you got my number from, but I'm not interested. Somebody put my number on a list, and now they're just texting me nonstop, trying to sell me things. It's like, no, I live in a house with children. I'm not buying drugs. Okay, so someone else says, I thought journalists make good income. That is not true. Journalists are like, I mean, some journalists make good income, but that's if they're at the top. There isn't really like a middle class when it comes to journalists. It's like, you either make like a lot of money, or you don't make shit. There isn't really like a middle. And unless you are like Jim Acosta, you're at the bottom, making shit. Which is fine. That's just the way journalism works. That's it. I think it was always like that, but what do I know? What was I saying about owning my own place? Yeah, I'm a big saver. I mean, I've been saving up to buy a place for years now at this point. I mean, you know, not that I have like a ton saved up, but just ever since I realized how much of a difference saving makes in your life, I've been saving up, and it has made a huge difference, mostly in my mental health. Like, I thought that I had mental health problems that were like internal, that could not go away. But then when I realized that a lot of those problems go away when you feel financially stable, and when you feel like you're moving somewhere, you're growing, and you have control and freedom, that a lot of your anxiety and mental health problems go away. It's really true. Listen to me, try it. When you when you build up over time and save up enough money for whatever goal it is that you want. You know, for me, it's buying a home. I just so desperately want to buy a home. So much want to own my own place that is mine, that I have control over. Nobody can kick me out of. Nobody can tell me what to do with it. Nobody can everybody can just sit in their stupid little corner. That's what I want. I want a home that's mine. And then, but whatever it is that you want a business, you want to save up for like your wedding, you want a big wedding, like saving up for a goal can make so much of a positive impact on your mental health. It really works. Someone is asking where I moved. I didn't move anywhere. I'm just describing a scenario that I hope will happen in the future. Yeah. Have your snacks, everybody. And then have your drinks. Nate says you have to put a lot of money in a home. Apartment with doorman is awesome because you have maintenance. I like a home where the access is directly to the outdoors because I need sunlight. I like sunlight. And I like being able to go out and I like control. Like, I like control of my own life. I don't need to, I don't need somebody else taking care of my stuff for me. Like, I can take care of my own stuff. Because what ends up happening is, like, when you're in a building with, when you're in a building with, like, a lot of, or that claims to, do a lot of maintenance, they end up charging, like, really high HOA fees. So you're still paying a lot of money that is not going in your own home, but you're just paying for like a committee that claims to be like taking care of things that you can't do yourself, but they're usually things that you can take care of yourself. You're just paying a lot of money for no reason. Someone says, yeah, the best thing about owning your own home is that you can build up equity instead of wasting your money on rent. Nate says, Pardes, buy a home with a gigantic backyard and do shrooms. Yes. That would be the dream. Buy a home with a gigantic backyard. Oh my god, that would be the dream. And do shrooms in my backyard. That would be, by the way, I've never done shrooms before. Like, everybody thinks I've done shrooms just because I talk about it so much. I've never done shrooms before. But that is, like, my goal. Like, literally, Nate said my dream in a sentence. A big home with a huge backyard and shrooms in my backyard. That's literally just, like, all I want to do. I don't care about living in a big city. Like, I can go back and forth, I can go back and forth to the big city. I don't care about that. All I want is a big space that's mine. I can do whatever I want in it. I can have a lot of children, although I can't really do that without a guy to be married to, but that's a different story. But, like, you can do whatever you want. And then, when I want to go to the big scary city, I'll just fly there. Nate says, Pardes, shrooms is not any drug. It is a poetic lover that you will forever think highly of. That's good to know. Yeah, so what is everybody doing today? Oops. I just spilled a bunch of sour cream myself. What is everyone doing today in their lockdowns? Maybe you're not staying home today. Maybe you're going out. Not judging, but these Karens are so annoying, by the way. Like, you go outside with not the perfect PPE and they just give you shit that is totally unnecessary. Dove says there's a huge percentage of people who left New York City for Corona and canceled their leases after realizing they don't need a noisy city life. Oh, I totally see that. Yeah, I mean, city life is fun for one purpose only, and that's because of access. Because you have so much access to power, because you're just so close to it, right? But when having access to power doesn't need you to be actually close to it, especially at a time of this coronavirus, actually can be a very empowering thing, because you realize that you actually don't need to be there. You don't need to be in a big city. You don't need to be close to everybody. It doesn't make a difference. You can still, it's not going to make a difference in your life. And so I think that's a really good thing, actually. More people taking advantage of like the vast lands that are out there that you can go and live in that are not in dense urban population. You can be happy and enjoy, and you don't have to be like stuck in the middle of a very, very high pollution, high traffic, like nervous city. I totally agree with that. The only thing with me is I don't know where I would move to. Like, where would I live? I've been living in big cities my whole life. I wanted to live in a suburb or somewhere with a lot of land, my own big house. Where would I live? I haven't spent enough time in these smaller towns or like other random places to know where I would want it to be. Someone says move to Nate says move to Wyoming. I've never been to Wyoming. I heard Kanye wants to build a city there. Idaho? Someone said, Jorge says Idaho. Do you hear that? Kanye wants to run for governor of Wyoming. Don says move to the Congo. Well, that'd be fun. I've never been to Africa, but it just sounds so great. How you're Durin says, believe it or not, the South is more advanced than northern cities. Bye, Dove. Have an awesome day. Zach, thank you, Zach. Oh my gosh, thank you, Zach. That's so nice. You made me feel so happy. Alright. Nate says Pardes living in the Congo seems wrong. I think it'd be great because I always wanted a monkey. I always wanted a pet monkey, and I don't know, like, I just think that my spirit animal is a monkey. And you can't really have a pet monkey in the city. You can't have a pet monkey in like a real civilized society because pet monkeys need a lot of freedom. And I read up on this a lot. Like, they really need they need to be like not your pet, but the other person in the house. They need to be like kind of like your child, like your teenage child. That's how pet monkeys are. They're like teenage children. So you have to like have everything for them and just like a ton of space. But you can't like get them to do things. It's really psychological. So Zach says, oh my gosh, Zach, thank you so much. Please please come to all my live streams, Zach. That's awesome. Nate has moved to Israel, started kibbutz with Lila, and lived that life. I connected with Lila recently. That's cool. She's good people. If I have like one friend who would move with me to some middle of nowhere place, I would totally do it. Like, one friend, just one person that I get along with and that I could like move with to like a cheaper place that's not the big city. Like, I would do it. Yeah, I would do it. And I would just fly into DC whenever I need to. For work, I mean, I work in DC. I kind of don't know when my office is going to be back in session, but when that happens, I can just fly in there. You know, I don't have to live there forever and ever just because I work there. I can just be there for work. A lot of people do that. Somebody says I look like Jerry Seinfeld. That's so funny. Somebody made a video about that, actually. Somebody made a song about it. It goes, "You look like Jerry Seinfeld." Na 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 na. I don't know. It's a funny song, but definitely check it out. I think it's called Pardes looks like Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, check it out. It's on YouTube, and it's like a screenshot from one of my live streams. So yeah, check it out. All right. DC is very pretty. Yes, DC is very, very beautiful. DC is very pretty. And I actually love DC. Like, I complain about DC so much, and it does sound like I don't want to ever be in DC and whatever, but the truth is that I actually love DC, and there's so many fun things about it, and it's so much fun, and it's kind of like there's always something happening there. It's more fun to not live in DC, but to visit there. It's more fun if you live somewhere else, like a simpler place. You have your own home where you feel stable. Like, I don't even know where, but I can't say LA because LA, where I grew up, is just so expensive. It's so expensive. It's way more expensive than DC, and DC is already expensive, but LA is just totally different level. So I mean, I won't be able to afford LA for a while, and I don't even know if I care about wanting to live in LA. Like, whatever. I don't need to be around everything. Like, I can, as long as I can travel, it's fine. You can fly into DC for work. You can fly into LA every time you want to meet people or something. Every time there's a big party, you can fly into LA. It's not a big deal. You don't have to live in LA always. You don't have to have your business based in LA. I know a lot of people are moving their businesses out of LA or other parts of California because there's so many rules and restrictions and taxes. And California will still be fine because the population is very high and they'll still make their money. But for a lot of people, it's just not worth it to be in to have their businesses here. So they move their businesses to Texas. They make their money in Texas. I'm just using Texas as an example because I know a lot of people who move their businesses from California to Texas. A lot of people moving there just to live also, but even just businesses, like a lot of people are moving their businesses to Texas because just fewer regulations, and you can't really thrive so well economically if in a place with so many regulations. So they move their businesses to Texas, and they come back and forth. They come back to California just to be with their family, and you can totally do that. You don't have to like live in a big city permanently just because of those things. Hayden says, which is more expensive, LA versus New York City? So the difference between LA and New York City, I would say, because I spent so much time in New York City, and I kind of hate it. Sorry if you live there. I like New York City also, but like just for a few reasons, but the rest of it I kind of hate. But the thing about both places is that you have to be making a lot of money to live in like a decent place. It's just very expensive. But the difference, I would say, is that New York City kind of, it has less of like a wealth gap, if that makes sense. Meaning like not less of a wealth gap, but it's less of a wealth gap. Like New York City is kind of like, it's just more expensive for everybody, and but you'll still but it's all so crowded that it's just all mixed up together. You'll still go on the subway, and you can be like a really rich person sitting next to like a really poor person on the subway. And that's normal for New York City. You'll see like a guy in a suit and a guy like looking like a homeless guy in the same bus or train, and that's New York City. But I feel like LA is kind of different. Like in LA, it's a lot more segregated. It's a lot more like the rich people world is just so far off from poor people world. It's almost like those worlds are just in parallel universes. Like the rich people, you'll never see like, I'm just saying rich and poor people just for lack of better terms, but so I hope I'm not like offending anybody by using it. It doesn't, those are very simplistic terms, but I just feel like LA is very, and maybe it's because everybody drives everywhere. You're not using public transportation the way that you're doing that. You are in New York. You're not gonna see like a rich LAer and a homeless person like sitting together on the bus. That's not common. It's not very common in LA, but because, like people in LA just have their cars. So, and it's segregated too, like areas are different, separated. Someone is asking what I love and hate about New York City. I wrote a blog post about it, like why I hate New York. I just don't like that it's so dirty, and like no matter where you are in the city, even if you are in a nice, like in an expensive area, it's just always gonna look dirty and gross, and you're always gonna be around too many people. I get claustrophobic around too many people, always. Like I just don't like crowds. And that's ironic because I'm always complaining about lockdowns, but that's not about crowds, that's about control. So I just don't like to be around too many people at a time, and New York City is just really hard to avoid it. Too many people, too much noise, too much stress. Like it's too fast paced. Everything is, but it's not like necessary either. It's just, it just takes so long to get everything done because there's so many people in New York that, like, I don't know, it just takes so long to get everywhere, and it takes so long to get everything done. It's just, everything is such a hassle all day, and it's just, you can't drive there if you wanted to. Doug says, finish my conference call. What did I miss? Nothing. Doug lives in New York City, so we won't tell him anything about all the shit we've been talking about in New York City. I just, like, dismissed that call. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, so I'm gonna go now. Almost. Oh, hey, Jessica. What's up, Jessica? My friend Jessica's on this live stream, and that is awesome. One second. I miss you too. So Jessica's asking about the boxes. These are not my boxes. So the thing about these boxes is that they're my parents. My parents were in middle of fixing a pipe problem in the house, and it was like a really bad pipe problem, and like the ceilings were leaking and everything, and so they basically like moved everything into boxes so that they can fix the pipe problem. But then coronavirus happened, so they stopped, so they're basically just put that on hold. I mean, that's a simple story. Yeah, that's a whole story of the boxes. Sneer says, I want to move to Wyoming because I like the cold, crisp air and low population density. I prefer bisons over humans and enjoy feeling the vast open space. Nate Marks, may I smell your male feet? What? What? It was not intentional pandemic backdrop. This is not a made-up backdrop. This is literally the backdrop to where I'm living. This is not like made up. This is literally what happens when a pandemic hits in middle of your house fixing pipe problems. You just have to like put everything on hold. Okay, guys. I'm gonna go now. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe and all that stuff. I'm gonna go now. Bye. See you on Twitter, because that's the only other thing I have to do. Bye.